This is a collection of memorable moments, but the one that sticks out to me the most is the first time I actually flowed water through a fire hose and a nozzle. It was the realization that this is actually what I'm doing, that I'm going to be a firefighter, and also the pressure at which it was pumped was let me just say this, in the past when I've watched people do it, they've made it look easy.
Probably about a couple weeks ago, we were doing simulations at the H barracks, and Cap Michaels comes up with a huge breakfast burrito, and Recruit Capoletti's like kind of eyeing it down.
Man, he said, Capoletti, you're killing Ortiz over here. He looks like he's about to die. And I was like, I thought I was gonna throw up. Man, Capoletti, we gotta start getting you some salads, man. We gotta start feeding you some salads. And I eat lunch with him every day, so I know what he eats. Sir, I did have a salad. I said, sir, he is lying. He had a salad after he had a big bowl of pasta. And Capoletti's there, he's like, I did have some pasta. So.
Recruit Slicker and I decided we'd practice throwing the 35-foot extension ladder all the way to the top of the building, so it's up onto the roof, fully extended. Cap Michaels and I believe it was firefighter Tobias come by. They turn our backs to us. Well, the next thing we know, Slicker and I turn around, a gust of wind had come by, just started blowing the ladder over. We jump on the ladder and we're trying to just hold it. We can't get it upright. We're literally doing everything we can just to stop it from falling. Recruit Mayor was in the close vicinity, so we're yelling at him, but we're trying not to do it too loud to get all the attention at us as this ladder is about to fall over. Mayor comes over and he's able to help us get it back up. And we kind of, Slicker and I both look over at the same time and see Captain Melinda's Prius sitting about 20 feet to our side where the ladder was falling, and we're like, oh my God. The ladder almost took out the roof of his car, and we forever would have been known as the two recruits that totaled an instructor's car in the academy. What's up, Slicker?
Hey, Slaughter, how you doing, bud?
Recruit Jensen was doing a hose lay, and his spanner fell out of his pocket and hit the deck and got yelled at from across the way, and his response was, "Sir, the rats ate a hole in my pocket, sir." Just not something you expect to hear, kind of one of those the dog ate my homework moments, and that was pretty great.
About 5 o'clock in the morning, me and Recruit Montgomery were coming in, opening up the locker room, and we've been having problems with rats. I turn around and I see this huge rat stuck in a trap, so we're like, oh, well, we got one, sweet. So what did we do? We put it in a bag, tied it up, put it in the middle of our locker room, and the next recruit that came in, which happened to be Recruit Murphy, said, hey, Murphy, there's a bag there with your name on it. So he walks straight to it, opens it, and he jumps so high, and just his reaction from that rat coming out was just classic. And then what does the rat do? Just hops out and just runs in a circle, and me and Montgomery are just like, no, you let the rat go, what are you doing? And he's pissed at us, and here we are trying to catch the rat so we can reset the prank.
And we're doing a foam lay with me and one of the other recruits, and it was Recruit Wolf on the nozzle, and it was our first time we had ever used the particular attachment that we have to put on top of the nozzle. And if you put it on wrong, the foam pretty much sprays right back at you. And Recruit Wolf had just been given the top recruit shield. She worked really hard for it the week prior, and as luck would have it, she did put the nozzle on wrong, and right away when she went to go open it up, foam just sprayed all in her face. And all the instructors came over and were taking pictures, and I'm pretty sure it's probably halfway through the department now, and everyone saw that, and it was just a really funny moment for all of us at the academy that day.
It was the last evolution of the day, and Captain de Guzman says, hey, hold on for a second, we're up on the 3rd story, and he yells out of the window, Academy 76, this is your last evolution as a fire recruit. Just take that in for a minute. And I was like, oh man, like this is my last evolution, the last time before I test. And it made me think not just, the 12 weeks we've been in the academy, but, I'm finally where I want to be. It's been 15, 20 years coming now, and I'm finally right there. Like I got goosebumps.
And we're in our full gear. We weren't quite, our bodies hadn't adjusted to all the gear and the helmets all day long, and so we're sweating like crazy. And they're showing us how to do these drags, and we partnered up, and you got to drag your buddy, and it's a huge room. I'm thinking maybe close to 100 yards that you're dragging your buddy. And so we did it. It's extremely hard, and you finish, and you're like, oh man, that was tough. And then they're like, okay, rotate, and you do it again. And I think we did it maybe 5 times. And I was looking around the room, and some of the guys that I knew were in the best shape of anyone, they're ripping their jackets off, running to the coolers, dunking their arms, and people were swaying. It was definitely one of those moments where you're like, I don't really know if I could do this. You kind of have some doubts, but looking around the room, you could tell everyone had the same thoughts. And but we got through it. Nobody quit. Everyone finished. And I think that was the turning point where I was like, okay, we can pretty much handle anything that comes up.
Just orientation when we got to our desks and my name tag. Because I remember seeing that as a cadet, we would help out, and I was always thinking, that is so cool to have your name tag. You know, it's the real deal. It's the big show. And then you get your helmet, your shield, and all that, you know. So I was like, wow, this is pretty serious.
Recruit Bales, she was getting ready to do the condo lay interior attack, and she had to do a pattern pressure test with the nozzle. And so she was pointing it directly at one of the captains, and he said, "You better not shoot water at me." And she said, "Yes, sir." And so she turned 90 degrees and just opened it up, and there was another captain, and I forget who, I think it was Firefighter O'Neill, but another captain and firefighter standing down below that she just directly sprayed with water. And it was pretty funny. So that was a memorable moment for me, and that she's standing right here. So.
Operating the 1 3/4 charged hose line, and I was spraying the cone to the right, and I didn't notice that it was leaning a little bit more so towards the engine that was on the street, and I accidentally started spraying inside the engine 3, not knowing that firefighter Cabbage was in there.
For probably a solid 30 seconds. He pretty much looked like he'd just come out of a swimming pool.
And everybody was laughing, and I felt so bad, but it happens.
I was doing a search, and when I found the dummy, I told him that Big D has got him. I'm gonna get him out. And I didn't think that was gonna come out until the instructors decided that they wanted to tell everyone about it at the end. And of course, Big D, which would be Big Dustin, turned into lots of other nicknames. So I quickly tried to get rid of that nickname. Unfortunately, it's probably gonna end up sticking, but yeah.
Seeing the mental toughness of everyone, especially during our 3-mile run, and seeing everyone on the second attempt of the 3-mile run, how emotional everyone got when we saw the people that completed that, and I got teary-eyed, and I know a few other people did, and it was definitely one of those moments that I'll never forget on how much everyone pushed each other to get to that point.
Recruit Cusiak, he had to finish on his second turn, and I was just there the whole way through it, talking to him and motivating him and telling him, pacing him, and I was proud to be somebody to be there to help him get through that moment, just like he's been there to help coach me through the technical parts with firefighting in this academy.
Yeah, like Ortiz, Wolf came through, like, man, that was a big finish. I remember we were all racing to the end, and you could just tell everybody was just super relieved. I could tell, man, we are one big family. We ride together, we die together.
To be honest, even though it wasn't the best moment for me, I actually, unfortunately, had a third attempt. Having that third attempt and being pushed to that limit and knowing that it's do or die now, and being able to perform under that stress, and I learned a lot about myself as being able to overcome that feeling of that pressure, and to be grateful in times and learn from your mistakes, and so you can persevere.
We're having this conversation, and we're trying to figure out the answer, and at the same time, Cap Melendez turned the corner, and he stood right next to us, and we're talking within 2-3 feet, and Cap Melendez just stood there, and we bombarded him with our questions, and both of us stared at his eyes and asked these questions about high-res escape, and we wanted an answer, and we talked to him, and he let us talk with a big smile on his face for a solid 2 minutes. A solid 2 minutes we talked to him. Renshaw started to smell him, and there was a putrid smell. He's smelling Captain Melendez, and I look at him, and I'm thinking, what are you... And he looks down, and we both look down at the same time, and Cap Melendez is holding a dustpan with a rat, about dead rat the size of a California burrito, just sitting there on this dustpan. And Renshaw jumped about 3 feet, and Cap Melendez started laughing. I've never heard any of the instructors laugh quite so loud, and that's something I will never forget.
One of my favorite moments, one of the recruits had built his RPM system, and Captain Melendez walks over and says, "Hey, is this my belay line?" He says, "Yes." He grabbed his belay line and started running across the cache. Oh, I'm dead. He just killed me. This recruit just killed me, Captain Flores.
I think anytime that we as an academy kind of bring it in and we kind of get in a huddle and we all put our hands in the middle and we start chanting 76 to the end, that's just how I know that everybody in this academy is my family member, my brother, my sister, and I think those are moments where we actually realize that we're closer than we actually think we are. So.
You know, every day it's, you know, they call it a grinder for a reason, but I think it's just the appreciation of the daily grinding, getting to where we are today. You look back at that, and each and every day, you know, day one and how nervous I was when truck one came up and we climbed the ladder tower, to day two, and you know, we're getting asked our first spiels or station locations, and you know, you don't know when you come into one of these things, you don't know which way the wind's blowing and how you're going to be treated and how you're going to be looked at, scrutinized. You just put one foot in front of the other day after day, and here you are. So it's a lot of hard work. So I guess if anything, it's just, again, the appreciation of still being here today, and all the hard work is, again, paying off. So.
My dad, he's always been, both my parents, and my dad has always been there whenever I had a long drive up to a department I applied for. He would want to drive and come with me as opposed to me driving the whole way, so I could sleep on the way and be rested for my interview. So it means a lot to me that he was always there supporting me. So.
What was that conversation like for you?
He was extremely happy. I know that he was always there for me, and he kind of shared that same disappointment that I did because he knew how bad I wanted it. But it's being able to see the smile on his face, and hopefully, you know, at the end of this and graduation will be the best moment ever. So.
My uncle, Captain Haynes, is he's a great man of God, and I try to follow everything as him. He just, every step of the way, he's a great man of God. He's definitely somebody that you can follow. He's lived a very tough life and is coming up. He lived a tough life and he made it through, and he shows you that the strength, determination, and the Bible can bring you through anything.
I think the moment where I felt actually really part of a family is when I was going to take my test. People are asking me if I need something, if they can do anything for me throughout the day. And they're taking time out of whatever they're doing that day just to make sure I have everything I need that I didn't even expect. And it was kind of a little overwhelming to actually have that kind of support. And I come back in from lunch after completing my pump test, and there's a note on my my ice chest that says, "Keep going, you're doing an awesome job." And you know, I didn't expect any of that, but you know, I'm in academy with a lot of great guys and great women, and you know, I wouldn't trade them for anything.
We had a good week where, I mean, it was 90+ degrees, and we were all coming in just sweating, pouring, and we were all just down tired. But we'd all come in the locker room cracking jokes and just kind of coming together. And it was kind of that moment that I realized that these people were my brothers and sisters at this point, that we really were coming together, and you know, that I would enjoy to work alongside all these men and women. You know, it's kind of the first time, even in my time in the Navy, I don't think I've ever felt that way, where everybody in my academy or everybody in my class, like, I honestly could say that I would be happy to work alongside them, and I would trust them with my life, and I would do anything, you know, if they got in a scenario, to save theirs as well.
When it came time for condoleezza, I had started cramping up 3 hours before. I knew I was up for a big, long battle, and Slaughter was doing really well. When it came time, I really was needing help on my last condoleezza. Man, I was sluggish. I had cramps in my arms, my fingers. I'm having to pry my own fingers open. And there's a point in the condoleezza where you need to pull 1 3/4 hose up to the second floor. And I had nothing in my arms at that point. And Slaughter tied the the gated Y off quick, and he said, partner, I remember looking down and looking at him, he's like, Slicker, I'm going to get you through this, let's do this together. And he started counting, and we started pulling that hose up together, and normally I'm supposed to pull it up all myself. Afterwards, you know, we were done, both huffing and puffing, and I came out after they told me that you passed, and I gave him a huge hug, and I remember, like, dude, I owe my entire career to you right now. Literally forgot about himself, forgot about his test, knew that I needed a teammate more than anyone at that moment. Man, I was in a dark place, and he knew it, and everyone else knew it, and he latched onto it, and he made sure that I was going to get through. And this entire academy is about us getting through it together. We didn't want to work on this department without each other. So
I told him, I'm like, hey, my job's easy. I'm just going to do it as quick as I can and help you. You know, I know he appreciates it, but I don't know if he knows how much I'm like, oh man, it was awesome to be able to help him out.
It doesn't quite hit you because you're so tired after testing. Even when they say congratulations, you're happy, but you're just still overwhelmed. And getting in that rig with Slaughter, Slicker, same person, and Sayers, turned on that red light and just driving around, and it kind of hit me right on this final curve because we came by the dorms or the locker room, and it was empty. So I was like, all right, people went home. You know, it's late. It was dark out. And then we pulled up here, and everybody was there. So
everyone stayed 3 hours after they're supposed to just to wait for us. It means a lot, you know, when you get tunneled out and when you have your teammates taking off your boots and taking off your socks and taking off your shirt because you're full body cramping. Those are the people and things that are going to mean everything for you down the line, and that's what you're going to remember. Everyone was willing to do something for the other person.
All right, that's it. Punishment.
That's it?
Good. All done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I like it. All right, buddy. All done. Sweet. All good, buddy.
All right. So that's all I got.
Nice. Good.
I'm going to go there on Friday. I'm going to play a game of golf.
Goodbye, everybody. Hola, mami.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you for this moment.
Any shout-outs, any thank yous you want to say to
76 to the end. Let's do it.